All right, guys. So um, it's now the evening after the accounts exam, and I'm telling you, I want to do this reaction video so bad because need to talk about this paper, right? We need to talk about this paper right here, right? Though, um, this paper is no ordinary paper, right? But I want to give my views on it. I hope that you guys, um, you know, would have done well. Um, but let's talk about this paper. All right, let's talk about this paper. This is a 2022 Principles of Accounts paper 2, right? So we're going to talk about this paper, right? Um, yes, Brit, welcome, man. Right? This is not the video for me to do the explanations and to do the answers and solutions. I've actually done the paper already, right? And so you may see some parts cut out, right? But this video is just my reaction to the paper, all right? And you know, for those who are probably worried, maybe to give you reasons to be worried or to calm you down, right? So that's basically what this video is about. It's a reaction video, right? It's not the solutions video. I'll release the solutions at a later date, right? I don't want anybody to be panicking or anything like that. So I just want to give my reaction about the paper. So first and foremost, the paper started off, in my opinion, well, right? It started off with a petty cash question. It did say books of original entries and ledgers, and so they stayed true. They stayed true to that, right? By starting off with a petty cash question, which was fairly, decent. I think this was a very easy question. Truth be told, it was very well structured. Nothing too challenging on it, right? So they started off with a petty cash question, right? Few transactions, they gave the petty cash, they dropped the petty cash on the next page, right? So all you need to do is to just write it in, and that was good, right? It was a good start. I would say that, yeah, CXC did good, right? They started off from simple, right? As a measurement specialist in training, right, almost finished. um this is a good way to do an exam, right? You start from simple to complex, so this was a very good start. Students would have been, their confidence would have been enhanced from this question, right, from the onset, right? So this is pretty simple, petty cash question to start with. Good, good. All right. And then, so that was the first part of question one. So you have part B of question one that asked you to enter the information into ledgers, right? So what they did, they created a ledger, um, created some T accounts for you to just input the information, which was fairly simple, right? I'm not going to discuss the solutions here. I know that you guys want me to tell you, right? So I am not going to tell you that right now. This is my reaction video. This again was very, very, very simple, in my estimation. Nothing difficult about this, so I liked this one, right? I like this part B. Then part C, you are actually given a check to write, to just fill in the information on a check, right? I thought that was cool, and they even tell you the information that should be on the check, so it was just for you to just put in the information there. So they said that the owner of TD Salon has asked you to prepare and sign the check to be given to Theory Francis. So they give you the name of who the check is to be written to. All you need to do is write in that. So they said the petty cashier, uh, the Theory Francis would be the petty cashier. And then they ask you to input the amount of money that it was needed to replenish the petty cash, right? Which you would have calculated already. So you just put that money. Obviously, you're going to write in the money in um, words first, and then you put it in numbers. The section on the check is there for that, right? And then you would just sign your name, right? The question did say you should prepare and sign, so you would sign your name. And I see I'm getting into the answer already. I don't want to talk about the answers right now. All right. So that for me, question one was perfect, excellent. I think everybody should get 100% on question one. When I saw question one, I was like, yeah, man, this paper is so easy, right? And that's just question one when I saw it, right? That was my reaction. I was like, oh, question one, easy, right? I did that question, and I think I did that question in about maybe 15 minutes, right? So it was fairly easy. A decent accounting student would have done this question within 30 minutes. So yeah, it's fairly simple, right? Then question two. Now question two, right? Um, it is a it is a receipt and payment question, or let me put it this way, uh, um, accounting for non-profit organization question, right? That they fused with a bank recon, right? So let me just to be sure. I'm just trying to look if it is that same question. Yes, yes. So it's a receipt and payment question that they fuse with a bank recon question. No, I've heard students complaining. Well, not really complaining, but it kind of throw them off, right? It kind of throw them off because they're not used to receipt and payment and bank recon. And it is what I have been saying, that CXC wants you to interpret and analyze and to test your higher level thinking skills. And so they will fuse two topics, right? And expect you to transfer that knowledge. So you should not get thrown. Well, I hope you did not get thrown. This question was a bit uncomfortable for some persons because of the fusing of both topics, right? So what they did was they gave, when I saw this question, I was like, then I was like, oh, then I was like, oh. When I remember my students, not only my student, but I remember students, and I'm thinking as a student, no, and I'm like, okay, this probably can be a problem to some student, right? So they gave, the receipts and payments, right? So they give some items there. Um, then they ask you, so they give, opening balance, and you should calculate the closing balance. They ask you to calculate to do the receipt and payment, which I believe was easy. So five, question two a two, yes, question 2A2, it asked you to do the receipt and payment account, which I believe was fairly simple. To be honest, it was difficult, right? It wasn't difficult at all, and that was 7 marks. So I thought that this was 7 easy marks, right? Let me see what's going on in the chat here. Yeah, man, Brit, I'm gonna do the solution, Brit, but this is not the solution video, right? As you can see, I tried to cut out using the eraser thing, trying to cut out the answer. This is not the solution video. This is my reaction video. So I thought that this question was fairly simple as well, right? And I felt good about that. I felt good. That was 7 marks that um an average accounting student should get, right? So not to mention the above average accounting student. So the average accounting student should be able to get that 7 marks easily. You should know how to treat a bank overdraft from cash book, right? So you should know how to treat the overdraft in this regard. All right. Then they ask you to prepare the bank reconciliation statement, right? Um, using the cash book figure, or the bank account figure, right? Now this was a little bit tricky, right? Seeing that it didn't have all the things that you are used to for a bank recon statement. But this question would have been a little bit more challenging, um, you know, for the average accounting student. But I think persons should be able to pick up at least a mark from this, or two from this question. Like the average accounting student should be able to pick up a mark at least from that. That's 20 marks. I believe that this question was not a difficult question. It was a little bit tricky, right? The reason why it was a little bit tricky is because, as I said, they fused the bank recon with the receipts and payments, right? But apart from that, this question was pretty simple. Was pretty simple. Yeah, it was pretty simple, pretty manageable. I believe, the average accounting student should be able to pass this question, right? Which means that they should be able to get more than 10 out of 20. All right. So question three now. Question three is all about manufacturing accounts, right? What I like about question three is that they section the marks, so it's easier to pick up marks, right? So the first one asks you to calculate the direct cost, which for me was, you know, fairly simple, right? All you would need to do is to do the calculations here, right? So, 7 gram of steel, how much per kilogram, the labor information. And they did go ahead and tell you again that these are the direct costs. So all you need to do is to do the calculations and add them up, right? So for 3 marks, I think that's pretty simple. So um, this this question started off well, 3 marks. Everybody could get that 3 marks. Then they ask you to calculate the total direct cost if they produce 800 automobile parts. Again, I think this was pretty simple. Um, you know, so you could get this mark, right? You just calculate, you just multiply whatever you got in part one by the 800 and you should get the answer. So again, I blur it, I take it out, I cut it out, the answer, my answers are there, but I use a thing and just blur it out, right? The app that I use, I cut it out so that you can't see it, right? Because this is not the solutions video. So I think this was easy, 6 mark, like very easy, 6 marks, 6 out of 20. That would be what, 40% of the question already. So I think that's pretty simple, right? So part B of question three, you are given some additional information to given some additional information. Oh, let me see the instructions here. I think you're asked to prepare the Lord, so the following instruction has been extracted from the books, da, 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 right? And you are expected to know, prepare an extract showing the calculation and how you arrive at the cost of raw materials used for the year end, which I think, again, I think this is very easy, right? Truth be told, I think this was very, very easy. If you know manufacturing account, you would know how to get cost of raw materials used. So this is 4 marks. And I thought I did a question like this um, in one of my live sessions, and I was saying that to calculate the cost of raw materials used, it's kind of a lot of marks, a lot of work for 4 marks. But yeah, it's 4 marks. But I think it was simple 4 marks. So I think you should get that 4 marks. So by this time, you guys should have passed the question, which is 10 marks. So 6 times 4, 10 out of 20, right? So I thought that this question so far is excellent. You are now to create the the um the manufacturing account. Um, Here you don't need to write back over everything that you have written leading up to the cost of raw materials used. So I had expected persons to now start from where the cost of raw material is used figure is, and you continue. You add whatever other direct costs you may have to get a prime cost, and then you add the other overheads, right? Your indirect overheads, and your work in progress and ever. So if you know manufacturing accounts, even by the slightest, you should be able to pass this question. This is 8 marks. So with the easy 10 marks and the 8, this is 18 marks. So this is already 90%. You get 90% out of this question. So I thought this question was a very good question as it relates to a manufacturing account question. It's a typical manufacturing account question. And how could it not end with they asking you to calculate a unit cost of production? And I did that again in one of my videos. So if you guys would have tuned in to my videos, you would have known how to calculate unit cost of production using the formula and everything. So this for easy, I think this is 2 marks, yeah. 2 marks. So this manufacturing account question, in my estimation, was a very, very, very manageable manufacturing account question. I think they made it very easy, especially the first 6 marks. So my reaction was, this is a very good manufacturing account question. If there is a student who is very comfortable with manufacturing account, they should at least um, get 18 out of the 20, or probably 20 out of the 20. So this was a good question. All right. So far, the only challenging question I would have seen would be question 2, where they ask you to do the bank recon aspect of it, the bank reconciliation statement. So far, so good. You would have, this is 60 marks already out of the paper. And I'm thinking that, okay, the average accounting student should be able to at least get 40 out of the 60 so far. So that's not bad. That's not bad, right? That's not bad at all, right? Then question 4, right? And obviously now we are increasing in intensity. This is where business plan come in, right? And I did state, right, in my video about business plan, that you need to know what you need to know is the components or the elements, right? And I did say that that part is very important. And um shout out, hey Renicia, it's Renicia, right? How you doing, right? Um, no man, no man, honorable Gordon. I'm not stressing you. That's why I'm not giving you. That is why I'm not giving you the answers. The answers would probably stress out some persons, right? So I'm just doing a reaction video, man, telling you what I think about the paper. All right. So this is the business plan question now, right? Where this is a business plan that they fuse with company account, right? So this 3 marks, I think this is very, very easy 3 marks if you would have known the components of a business plan, right? Executive summary, I'm not giving you the answer, right? So not stressing out Honorable Gordon, right? Yeah, man, no answer, no answers, no answer. Listen to me. Hey, when I was going to college, right, and stuff, when I do my exams, I don't want to hear the answers afterwards, right? Because it's going to cause me to stress. So I'm not going to give you the answer right now. So I'm just going to let you guys focus on your other exams. And then after CXC exams, I'll give you the answer. Me giving you the answer right now, me giving you the answer right now is not going to change what you did on the paper. It's only going to add to your stress, and possibly for persons who don't think that they have the correct answer, or know that they don't have the correct answer, then lower your confidence. So I don't want that, man. So after the exams and everything in the summer, I'll just go through and whatever the case might be. Probably not in the summer either. After the results are out next year, near down to the exam, I'll go through. Right? I don't want anybody stressing out. The starting of the new school year, I'll probably do that video, right? All right. So this question, the company now. So the first 3 marks for this, I think it was easy, very easy. So they give you some information about the company. They give you, you know, this information here, right? And then they give you this information to tell you what actually happened, right? And then they're asking you to prepare journal entries to record the transactions. This is something that I would have done, right, in my videos as well, showing you how to record the journal entries. So for me, this was fairly simple. And for an average accounting student, you should be able to, even if you don't know per se the full journal entries, you should at least know, what to do if you're receiving money, and so forth and so on. So the journal entries, here, I think this question was fairly simple. Yeah, 6 marks. I think it was not so bad. Truth be told, I think it was not so bad. And then they're asking you to prepare an extract to show the shareholders equity section, right? This part, it it was a little bit challenging because I did not, well, let me not say challenging. I was a bit unclear. I know the equity section would speak to the capital section, right? That is where they always test for company, because that is one of the main areas that a company differs from the company account. Financial statement of financial position, it differs from a sole trader, right? This right here. So the information would have been placed there, but I wasn't sure if they wanted the closing capital figure, which would be the double line figure, I don't, because there's no way to calculate that, seeing that there was, no net profit given or anything. So I guess it's just the information they wanted right there, how you get the capital, share capital information. So that was what I did, right? For 6 marks, it would have been warranted just the same. So, you know, so it's not bad so far, not bad, right? A little bit challenging. And then they asked you here to calculate, right, how much the company would pay out as dividend. This again was a fairly simple calculation. It's just a multiplication, but you need to know what to multiply by what, right? Which would have been given as well. So for our 3 marks, if you know what to multiply by what, it will be easy. If you don't know, then you probably would lose that 3 marks. All right. Then they ask you to. They say that calculate the additional number of 8% shares that the company can issue. Again, this would be just a calculation. I block it out, right? I block it out from here so you're not seeing it. This would be another calculation question, just multiplying two figures, stuff like that, right? Subtracting this amount of shares from the authorized and then they multiply whatever. So if you did not know what to do there, then you probably would lose that mark right there, right? But so oh, then they ask you to calculate the total value of the additional preference shares, right? So I think the average accounting student should be able to pass this question, right? You may not get the 18 out of the 20. The above average accounting student would be able to get at least 18 out of 20, right? But the average accounting student should be able to get maybe like 14, 13 out of the 20. So you should be able to pass this question, that question 4. So far, question 2 and question 4 would have been maybe the tricky type of question, as not question 4, a part of question 4. And um, question, a part of question 2, sorry, and question 4 would have been a little bit twitchy, right? But I still believe that everybody should be able to pass those questions, right? When I say pass the question, I mean get more than 10 out of the 20. Now, question 5. Dearly beloved, when I saw question 5, I was like, okay, okay, okay. That was my reaction. I was like, oh my gosh, I could not believe that this question is here, right? And it started out pretty well actually, right? Because it wasn't that difficult. The first part of the question really and truly wasn't that difficult. So they gave it the indirect cost, and we would have been familiar with indirect costs from manufacturing. So it's not unfamiliar terms, right? These are cost centers. These probably would have been unfamiliar to students who did not do anything about costing. And so the funny thing about it, I was wondering, I was like, all right, it's COVID and many disruption in classes, and a lot of teachers did not even get to finish or complete this new syllabus, right? And here is they're testing, they're testing a lot of stuff, right? That it would have taken the student a long time to get these concepts, and here it is. And I was like, oh my gosh. But the first part of it is, it's not that difficult, truth be told, right? So they're asking you to total the indirect cost of each cost center, which I believe, common sense, I guess, right? Or a fairly good amount of accounting knowledge, right? The average student probably, right? If you didn't get flustered by this time, because I know that some of you guys are very good accounting students, but you see this and you're like, okay, I'm done, right? I'm not even gonna try, right? But if you did not do that, if you had tried, then you would have realized what you need to do there, and it is just what Brit said, right? Yeah. So Brit, you're correct, right? So that's 2 marks actually. So you see that it's pretty easy. So that's why it's 2 marks. And then, okay, so you would have gotten 2 out of the 20, right? By now, people start stress out, you start to think, like, Lord Jesus, me go fail this thing now. But you can't think that, because you would have gone through 4 questions that you would have done reasonably well on, right? So the total production hours for the business are as follows, and then they give you this information. Now listen to me, guys. Listen to me, right? I I I I facilitate, right, a diploma level course, right, in business, in management and stuff. And I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you that this information here, it is it is new to me at the CXC level. I didn't expect this level of question at this level. Truth be told, I was like, what? They're talking about overhead absorption rate. That is what I did with my diploma level students in management, right? And I'm like, okay, all right, maybe I need to score the it is on the syllabus, right? But I just didn't think that they would do this, right? For this year, seeing that with all that we're going through, wars and turbulence, I just wasn't expecting it, right? And I was like, okay, all right, there it is. I'm like, I have to say a prayer for my students, man, right? And it's just 1 mark still, right? Because they just want you to put the formula here, right? And then they want you to calculate the overhead absorption rate for each cost center. And I'm like, whoa, this is next level stuff, right? And I'm like, oh, wow, wow, wow. And then that was my reaction. I was like, Lord, help them in there, you know? And then we move to the next part of the question. And by this time, I'm sure probably some persons would have been already stressing out, right? And then the next part of the question would have asked you to calculate what is this? Uh, right, so they're asking you to production calculate and arrive to calculate and arrive at the total cost of producing one toy car, right? And so they want you to calculate the cost of producing one car, right? And again, would have been challenging, right? You look at this table that they give you to use to help, right, to calculate the production over total cost, right? Also to calculate total cost, overall total cost, right? And this would have been unfamiliar to a lot of students, much more teachers, right? Truth be told, you get what I'm saying? So the difficulty level on this question, the difficulty level on this question, I think would have been high, right? Not many students would have been able to get full marks on this section, all right? And then they top it off um, with talking about markup pricing. Markup pricing is pretty simple concept still, right? You should be able to pick up the 1 mark. It's 1 mark for this question, so you should be able to pick up that mark. And then they ask you to calculate the total dollar value, and then they ask you to calculate the selling price, right, of the toy car, and then that's question 5. Truth be told, guys, I am not expecting a lot of persons to pass this question 5, right? For the persons who did pass, kudos, my hat off to you. But even if you did not pass this question, right, you would have done well on the other 4 questions, right? So it should not it this 1 question would not be enough to cause you to fail, right, or to even get a range 3, right? So don't you worry yourself, right? You should be fine. You should be fine with the paper. My overall reaction to the entire paper, I think the paper was fairly easy. It was fairly, let me not say easy, I don't like to use the word easy. It was fairly manageable, right? It was fairly manageable for the average accounting student. And when I say average accounting student, if you could manage in class to be getting like 50% or 60% in your accounting class on exams and tests, exams and tests. I'm not talking about classwork or homework. If you were managing to get 50 or 60% on exams and tests, right, then you should be able to do well at this paper, right? So believe in yourself. The multiple choice, right? The multiple choice paper was also very easy, right? I mean, it was like ridiculously easy, right? I'm thinking that they're trying to compensate for the question five with the multiple choice. I mean, it's like very easy, right? So you have that to look forward to. I think you guys, should do well. Um, the SBA for accounts does help, so you don't have to worry much, right? You should be able to at least get 40 out of the 60 on the multiple choice at least, right? I'm telling you, at least it was definitely not that difficult, trust me. And if you would have gone through those paper ones that I would have shared, then you would have seen that a lot of questions repeat. So again, it was very simple. You should be able to get the 40. Remember, this paper is marked out of, the entire thing is marked out of 200. So if you get, say, for example, I'm just saying you get 30 out of 40 on the SBA. I'm just saying 30 out of 40. So that means it is 30 out of 200, right? You get 40 on the multiple choice, right? So that's how much? 70, right? So you're going 70 out of the 200, right? Um, let's say on paper two, let's just say out of the 100 marks, you get 50, right? Let's just say that. So it would be 120 out of 200. You would have passed the paper, right? You would have passed the exam. You get what I'm saying? So it's you guys will do well. You will pass, right? You will do well. So don't worry yourself, right? So that's my reaction. As I said, I'm not going to give the answers until the starting of the new school year after your results. I really don't want you guys to stress out about it, right? So just take the time now, focus on your next exams. You have POB exams coming up, right? And so I'll be doing a little more of this for POB exams, right? So you can just, I want to keep the relationship. I want to find out, how you guys did and stuff like that. There are some names that I get to know that are always on here. I don't want to call any name, right? Less persons go feel away, but you know yourselves, right? So just keep the link, my email, right? You can shoot me an email and we just keep the link. All right. You are the best accounting students. So take care and I will see you next time for POB this time. For those of you who do POB, we will be talking. All right. So what good. Take care.